Kia ora everyone. If we haven't met yet, I'm Carly. I am the youth pastor here, which is one of the greatest joys of my life. I know working with high schoolers is not for everyone, but I really love it. And I'm actually just a couple weeks out from my 3-year anniversary in the job, which is pretty crazy. Like, it's flown by. I started this job in lockdown on Zoom, and then we were like meeting out in the park because we couldn't gather too many people inside. So it's quite nice to just like have a normal youth group now. I feel like when I normally preach, I have a tendency to challenge people, whether I want to or not. That's just always how it works out. So not today. Today, you get the reprieve of just sitting and enjoying hearing about what's happening in our youth group here at Shore. So I hope that you feel encouraged today about what God's doing in the future of the church. So this year has been a pretty big year for our youth ministry, and I want to share with you some of the incredible ways that God's been moving in the lives of our young people. Just a warning, part of this update will include me telling you where we're lacking and where we might need some support. Yes, there is another camp coming up. There's always another camp coming up, and we need to get some of our young people and leaders along to that. So I'm going to mostly focus on our Wednesday night high school aged youth group, but I'll quickly talk about Seek, which is the other part of my ministry. So that runs here on a Sunday morning. Connor is out doing that this morning for me, which is awesome. But yeah, so I usually run that during the sermon for intermediates, early high schoolers, although usually the other high schoolers sneak in as well. This group is like kind of like a small taster of what our Wednesday nights are. And it's been kind of blowing up this year as well. I don't know where all of these like intermediate age boys have come from, but there's a lot of them, which is fun. So I'm hoping to enlist some of our older teenagers to kind of help lead in that space, which would hopefully make the transition to youth group easier because the kids will know some people. But I just want to say it's a really encouraging space to hear the kids talk about who God is to them and their relationship with God. There are some really solid, beautiful foundations of faith in the families at Shore Vineyard. So well done, you guys. And it's a joy to get to see that in our young people. So I can't wait to see those kids grow. All right, so I shared a message a couple of years ago when we were kind of setting up what our kaupapa at youth group was, what it meant to belong in that space. And I talked about what our main principles of belonging were at Shore Vineyard Youth. And we came up with 3 main categories or words for that, which were safe, community, and fun, which I think are great words. And those still are our words. So we've spent the last couple of years building our youth group on those foundation blocks, consciously and subconsciously, praying and inviting to God to be part of our youth space in those words. So youth ministry is not an easy beast. I don't know if you guys have ever been involved with it. There's always positives, but teenagers are teenagers. They don't always listen well. They all have lots of stuff going on in their lives, and a lot of them have strong opinions based on very little fact. And I'm not their parent, so I share all of this with you this morning, knowing that despite the difficulties of all of that, it's worth it. Because we get to create a space where our teenagers who might not have the easiest time at home or school or just in general get to come and belong, which is really special. So going into 2024, I had a few people tell me that the 3rd year would be the year that you'd start to see your hard work paying off. I was not prepared for that to be so true. So for 2 years leading up to this year, youth group has been great. I've loved it. We've had a lot of great consistency. So we've had kids who come along every single week, which is awesome. That's been solid and amazing. If you're interested in numbers, though that's not necessarily my priority, but it is like you can see some change. We were solidly sitting somewhere between maybe 12 kids each week with like 10 leaders, so it felt like a decent group and nice high ratios. This year, something's shifted. That belonging feeling has started overflowing, and the kids want to share with their friends. So instead of just being there every week, They're there every week and they're bringing friends along. And then those friends come every week, get settled, and bring more friends along. So now we're consistently getting around 25 kids a week, which is like doubled this year. And almost every week I'm being introduced to someone's friend who they've brought along for the first time. So being a place where people go, I love this thing and I want you to come and experience it, is the dream, and that's what we're experiencing this year. Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, this whole message is just going to be me excited. Sorry. This my heart. I can't get over how lucky I am. So every week I drag my tired self to youth group. I don't know if you know, but I work at a really busy library alongside youth pastoring here, and I call Wednesday double job day. So I work all day at the library, and I end up working a 13-hour day, basically, where I don't stop. I might get a break for dinner, but usually I'm like writing my notes for leaders meeting at dinner. So I'm usually pretty tired by the time I get to church, and admittedly, sometimes it's hard to get through the leaders' meetings because my brain's on slow mode. But as soon as the kids arrive, I'm present and energized. It's like the switch flips and I'm doing what I'm made for, what God's created me for and is calling me to. We've been talking about thin spaces here, and Vic has graciously taken a week off to let me share this with you. But I think this church, full of teenagers and lovely dedicated leaders, is a thin place. The Wairua, the Spirit, moves in this place on Wednesday nights. We laugh and we play silly games and we talk about the Bible and what it means to be a follower of Christ, and God meets us in that. It's clear that that is true not just for me, who seems to receive supernatural energy when I need it, but for our young people too. There's this deep sense of being at home here, the peace and the assurance that you belong. And I give all of the props for that to God, being right here with us and through us in that. So I thought it would be nice for you this morning to hear what some of our young people were saying rather than just my voice. So I asked them on Wednesday night what they love about youth group, and I'll share some of that with you in a minute. But we do actually have some of our youth here this morning, and so I want to invite up Rory and Talia, who I'm going to ask a couple of questions to. And while they're coming up, I've just randomly chosen some pictures from our youth that I want to share with you. So this is Easter camp. That's our group right at the end of camp. If it was a close-up, you'd see my massive under-eye bags. This is us playing games, doing talks, Rory and Zach high-fiving, having great times. Look at our girls. Talia is like an evidence of the fact that we actually have girls this year. For the last 2 years, we've had like approximately 2 girls consistently. So look at that group. It's so good. We have so much fun. Anyway, hi guys. Would you like to introduce yourselves? I don't know if this is on or not. It doesn't look like it, but yeah, it is. Okay. Who wants to go first?
Hi, I'm Talia, and I'm Joe's daughter and Tyrone and Rory's little sister.
Oh, hi, I'm Rory, and I'm year 11 this year.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so Rory's been with us for a couple of years. Talia is year 9 this year, so it's her first year with us. So I have some questions for you guys. My first question is, what do you like about youth group?
I love that it feels like a safe space where I can like talk about my problems and express myself.
I agree with that, but also I like how there's a balance of fun, but we can still have nice, serious talks. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, next question. What makes youth group different for you than other spaces in your life?
It feels more mellow because sometimes life can get a bit hectic, and it's nice to come and have a space where it can just get away from all of that.
I kind of already said it, but just like having a space where I can like have fun and talk about problems, because talking about deep stuff can feel awkward at times, especially like being younger it can, but talking with like my amazing leaders is really good.
Awesome. And my last question, which I know you guys kind of have like vague answers for, is is there a time that God has showed up for you? Or What's something that you've learned about God that's been important for you?
I'll answer the first question. This year at Easter camp is a really nice and life-changing experience, and I felt God throughout all of that, but especially during just the quiet moments where I'm to myself and just get to experience all of it.
I don't necessarily have a direct answer, but I'd say like I see God through the leaders and people that are like sharing and just talking with them, and like they're not that much older, but they're so wise and have so many good things to tell us.
So not that much older. Thanks, Rory. Awesome. Thank you, guys. I'll take that from you. Thank you for sharing with us. I love, we've got like their whole family now because Tyrone dragged them both along, and then Joe's been coming to church as well, which is awesome. So thank you for sharing with us. So those are just a couple of voices, and it's really great to hear from them. On Wednesday night, I asked similar questions, and I wanted to share with you some of the answers. Unfortunately, one of the questions I asked was what's one word you would use to describe youth, and that is the one that they all chose because it was the easiest one. So I want to share with you the words that they all had. So welcoming, bright, and then she said, I don't know why, that just feels right. Vibes, and then he felt really awkward that was the word he chose. Special, giggles, comforting, and then we have the big three. Safe, fellowship, so community and fun, which is awesome. So Wednesday night here is a place where kids who are a little silly and goofy can say that they feel like they can relax because they can come and be themselves without being made fun of, and that they know people are laughing with them, not at them. It's a place that feels supportive. One of my leaders described it as a family, which I really like. Families love each other through thick and thin. They can be a little bit dysfunctional, but they still love each other, and I feel like that is us most of the time. And it's a place where they get to meet people who share their faith and build friendships with people who they wouldn't meet otherwise. It's a place where they can go deeper and get more personal in small group time. We have a lot of fun, but we also get to journey with these teenagers, supporting them in the big and small of life. Not all of them invite us into that, which is fine, but it's such a privilege with the ones who do. This year we've noticed a shift in that as well. We've been able to go along to their sports games and school plays. We went to Connor's play, even though he was just playing the drums. He wasn't in it, but last weekend I went to one of our boys' band's first concert, which was great, and I felt really old in that room, but that's okay. And then one of his bandmates came to youth group on Wednesday, so all of that stuff makes a difference. And it is a place where over and over again, without prompting, I'm told that it's the thing that people look forward to in their week. It's always the highlight of their week. It's their home. How special is that? That God is clearly working in this space, even if they don't realise it. God's meeting with them when they arrive at 7 o'clock on a Wednesday night, drawing them closer to Him, drawing them home. And it's that for our leaders as well. Most of our leaders have been leading basically as long as I have. They were all year 13. I started term 4, and they were all year 13 and then graduated and then became leaders the following year. So most of them have been leading for almost as long as I have here. And it's been really cool seeing the growth in them over this last year. So I live with one of our leaders, Beth, who is great. And there have been a number of times where we're both just sitting at home in the quiet, and one of us will just be like, oh, I love our youth, for no reason at all. Working with these young people, I honestly am pretty happy that I'm not a teenager today. I see how hard the digital world is to grow up in. And I can see the way that it affects our teenagers. Mental health issues are at an all-time high. The pandemic did nothing good for anxiety and fear. The world can be a pretty hard place to be. So we try to make youth an easy place to be. My heart for our youth group has and always will be to cultivate a safe place for all of our young people to come and be themselves. And it feels like that's happening this year. One of the girls messaged me this week about why she loves youth group, and I want to read to you what she said, which, caution advised, because it did bring me to tears, but I probably have more skin in the game than you do, so who knows. All right, this is what she said. With the amount of support and love I receive at youth, I feel like my confidence levels have increased substantially. I've always been a confident girl, but I feel like ever since I joined youth last year, I've been able to get close to so many people and gain such strong and real connections with people that I know won't judge me for the person I am. I'll be forever grateful for this youth group. I always get excited knowing that Wednesday night is my safe space, and I love the time I spend there. When I double-checked with her if it was okay for me to share this, she said, I'd love the people at church to know how much of a safe and fun place youth is, the way it's changed mine and others' lives so much. We're all so grateful. Oh, that's why we do it. I say to Beth often when reflecting on how much we love our youth group, I have no idea how we've cultivated this space that feels so safe and comfortable for people, but I'm so glad that we have. God has been so incredibly faithful over the last 3 years in helping make that a reality. You'll probably know that I've had my share of health struggles over the last years with a pretty nasty concussion that's been dragging on for 1.5 years now. But this youth ministry, thankfully, isn't about me. The heart still beats when I'm not here because God is woven into the fabric of SVC Youth. I'm so grateful for the amazing team of leaders that I have who will always pick up the slack so that our young people still get to have an amazing night. But this does bring me to my first need. As I say, we have increased in size a lot this year, which, while simultaneously losing leaders for at least the rest of the year. One of them's doing police college, one of them's doing the Te Araroa Trail, which is awesome, but it just means that we're kind of lacking, and we're feeling that. The numbers we have are doable because we always had really crazy high ratios before, but I think our youth could probably do with some leaders who are maybe just in a different demographic from the ones we have, who pretty much all sit between the ages of 20 and 22. We're specifically lacking in guy leaders. I've been a boys' small group leader all year because we haven't had enough leaders for our boys, which I mostly love, although I can guarantee I wouldn't have to say the words, all right, we've reached our quota of fart chat tonight, if I was leading a girls' small group. But they seem to be okay with having me, but I'm sure that having a guy leader would be better. So if you're someone who might be interested in joining in on Wednesday nights, I'd love to hear from you. You don't have to be a guy, just if you're interested in any capacity. Wouldn't you want to be part of a ministry that we get to say all of this cool stuff about, that gets to be home for so many cool young people? And while I'm on the topic of asking and needing, we have another youth camp coming up, which I probably should have told you about before now because it's in like 3 weeks, but oh well, here we are. So it runs, I didn't put the dates on there because the dates on there were wrong, so I cut it out. It's running at the end of the school holidays, so October 11th to 13th, and it's our Auckland Vineyard Youth Combined Camp, which was we did the first one last year, so this is our second time doing it, and I'm really excited for it. So our theme is Holy Rebellion, which all the kids are like, what does that mean? But basically, like, how do we live faithfully to God rather than conforming to the world? So that's going to be cool. I'm excited for it. So prayer for this camp would be amazing, but we could also do with some financial support if you're a person with the means. There are some people who need help getting there. We only need to pay for people's tickets this year, which is great, because it's in Auckland, so we don't have to sort out transportation. Youth camps are a really significant part of a teenager's faith journey. We talk with them a lot about finding God in the mundane and the everyday life, but youth camps are one of the most incredible thin spaces. God yells and he heals and he shows up in all sorts of ways at camps. They're an important space for our young people to learn more of who he is, and to witness how real he is. At Easter camp this year, we had at least 5 kids give their lives to God for the first time. At Extend this year, we had some of our young people finally able to talk about the dark stuff that they've been carrying around and find support in and through that. So camps are pretty amazing. I haven't mentioned it, but Easter camp, Extend, and sleepovers, which we haven't done one in a while, but who knows, maybe soon, are always mentioned as a highlight of youth group. They grow faith, and they're so much fun, and they're such a cool space to build relationships. So if you are able to support that in any way, it would certainly not go to waste. Youth ministry is a very special part of a teenager's faith journey. It's a time that they start fully embracing their faith as their own. They start asking more questions and deciding what they believe in. I was not a teenager who got a lot of experience in that space, and because of that, I walked away from faith for a long time. So being a place to belong for our young people means that they can be safe to question and to grow and to shape their faith into their own, that they can set down proper roots and build deep relationships with other Christians. Youth group sets people up for personal relationship with God. It makes God accessible to them, and the hope is that we do that. In doing that, we can send them out into the world kind of more set up to be a Christian moving forward. So these people, the ones that I've been talking about for the last 20 minutes, are the future of the church. And I can say confidently that the church is in really good hands. Right, so now that I have sufficiently shared my heart and soul with you all, I think perhaps it would be good to pray, not just for our young people, though that is a great thing to do, but for a sense of belonging and home for all of us, wherever that may be and whatever that may look like. If the band wants to come back up, I'll pray, and then we can close with a song. So God, I thank you that you are always with us, whether we can sense that or not. What a privilege to know that you are woven into all that we do. I pray that little by little that becomes more clear until it's so clear that we're blown away by you. Thank you for being the God of the mundane and the God of the big moments. Lord, the teenagers of Aotearoa are a generation with so much potential and desire to make change, so I pray for them in the preparation. Weave yourself into their stories. Thank you that you are a God who calls us home and that you are our home. Belonging is something that we all desire. Thank you that we belong to you and we belong with you in whatever state we come on that day and in that moment. I pray for those who don't feel that sense of belonging anywhere. Be that for them, Lord, and bring them to the right places and people. Help them find their thin places. Be with us, Lord, in our fun, in our community, and in our safe spaces. Amen.
Wasn't that beautiful? Let's give her a hand. Bless that lady too, Lord, we pray. Just be with her. Carly, do you know offhand how much one fee to go to camp is? 180. So if you'd like to sponsor one, there may well be people who sort of put a ring around one. So bless you guys. When Carly and I were chatting the other day, it was like, man, there's too much here just to sort of do it as an announcement. What's happening? We don't really see. It's chaos here on Wednesday nights. It's just fantastic. So, bless you, Carly. Bless you for all you do, and Talia and Rory. Well, fantastic, man. What great ambassadors you guys are. So bless you too.